My name is Carolyn, and I talk to the spirit world. Travel with me to a dimension filled with love, light, and joyful surprises. Welcome to Carolyn's Psychic Playroom. Hi, everybody. It's Carolyn Wilkins here, and I want to welcome you to Carolyn's Psychic Playroom. I hope you've had a good month. As you can see, I'm not in the studio this month. This is a very special edition. I'm coming to you from the comfort of my living room. So, we're going to get started right away. As you know, we're in the month of December, the month of the winter solstice. No more powerful time of the year. The sun is getting ready to return. The days are maximum shortness right now. This is a perfect time for transformation. This is a perfect time to go inward, to reflect, and to gather oneself to launch into 2019 with a new energy and renewed vigor. A good time for just taking stock, taking a look at what's going on, and then moving forward. I hope that you will have a chance to do that kind of work this month. And I'm going to charge right into my readings for this month. As you know, every month here on the Psychic Playroom, I have the chance to answer a few questions that viewers have written in over the past month. So this month, I'm going to get right to it and answer some questions using my trusty Akashic Records Tarot deck. So the first question comes from Jay, and the question is regarding fidelity. That is the question, fidelity. So without further ado, I'm shuffling the cards here. You can't see, but I am. I'm shuffling the cards, and I'm going to ask the cards, what does Julia J need to know about the relationship, the fidelity? That is the question. What does Jay need to know about fidelity? And I'm shuffling, shuffling, shuffling. What does Jay need to know about fidelity? And I'm going to pull a card. This card is Loving Elementals. Loving Elementals. As I look at this card, you see there's a beautiful little girl, and she's surrounded by, it looks like a fairy and some other kind of magic spirit. She's in her own little magical world. She's safe. She's protected. She's not worried. My feeling about this card regarding your question, Jay, is that you also should feel safe. You should not feel worried. You should not feel anxious. You should know that you're protected at all times. Fidelity is not going to be a problem for your situation. You are safe. You are protected. You are loved. And you are surrounded. Even if, God forbid, something should go wrong in your situation, fear not, because you are always protected. You're always going to land on your feet. And the key is to act as a child. Keep your childlike, sprite-like spirit. Don't be so anxious. Do not be suspicious, and do not be worried. So I hope that's helpful, Jay. In answer to your question, I'm going to roll on to question number 2. Question number 2 is from C, and the question is regarding opening a spiritual meeting house. What a great question. So once again, I'm going to shuffle the cards, and I'm going to allow myself to just kind of go neutral and see what message may be there for C regarding opening a spiritual meeting house. What does C need to know right now from the cards about opening a spiritual meeting house? So I've shuffled a little, and now I'm just going to randomly spread them out and pick one. And this one I have. This is a beautiful card. I hope you can see it. It is the one of roses, and its theme is commitment. So what this says to me is that C is committed to this plan. The spiritual meeting house is going to happen. You have already, it is my feeling that you have already laid down the groundwork for this. It is written in your book of life. Commitment. You are committed. You know that this is on your path. You know that it is written in your book of life. And there is no question in my mind that the cards are indicating that your spiritual meeting house is a wonderful idea to which you are committed and to which Spirit is giving you the promise of fulfillment. This is something that will happen. It's not a question of if, but simply when, and when the time is right. And I see these appear to me to be rose petals. I'm going to say rose petals, and for some reason psychically I'm being called to say the spring. Look for developments on your spiritual meeting house in the spring. See, but without question, it's on, it's happening. Okay, so that's for you, C, spiritual meeting house. The next question is from D, and the question regard their dog. Their dog has passed. They miss their dog terribly, and they would like to know whether they will be reunited with the dog in another lifetime. And yes, dogs are amazing companions. They can really be, I know people who will say they're better than human companions. They're a lot more supportive at times, that's for sure. So, D, let me answer your question. I'm shuffling cards, and the question is, will I be reunited with my dog? What does Dee need to know about her relationship to the dog in the spirit world? So I'm spreading the cards right now, and I'm shuffling them around a little bit, and let me see what comes here. What comes is, Archangel Michael, a beautiful card. Archangel Michael is the angel of protection, the angel of spirit, the angel of power. And this says to me that you see that Archangel Michael is actually with two little children there protecting them. What it feels to me is that your dog is around you even now in the spirit world. My feeling is that this was a protector dog who you would feel comfortable if you had to go out at night, you had the dog with you, you felt protected, the dog looked after you, the dog guarded the home, the dog watched over you, and the dog will continue to perform that function in the spirit world. You and the dog are very connected, and don't be surprised if, for example, if something were to happen or a person were to approach you in a not right way, that some random dog from off the street or something would begin to bark. This dog is your dog with you. Your dog is with you in spirit and protecting you. This is message from Archangel Michael. quite beautiful. So D, I hope that that was helpful. For my last reading this evening, I have another question. This is from another D, D number 2. And the question regarding friendship. Friendship. D number 2 has met a new friend and wants to know whether this friend will be a lifetime friend or just a casual friendship. Is this a really deep and lasting friendship? So I'm shuffling the cards and I'm going to ask, what does D number 2 need to know about friendship? So I'm shuffling and let's see what the cards have to say on this point. Okay, I'll shuffle one more time. I'm going to spread them around just a little bit. And yeah, here we go. Friendship. So this card here is the card of intricacy and industry. This says to me an eternal truth about friendship, actually, D, which is friendship is something that one must work at. This is something that one builds over time. You see here, there's a cathedral being built, and I don't know if you can see the card there. There's a man who's the architect who's designing the cathedral, and this says to me that the friendship has the potential to last a long time and be quite beautiful. However, it must be worked at. It's not just going to be completely natural. An effort must be made and a commitment must be made that this is, in fact, how you wish to pursue this relationship. If you work at this friendship, it's going to be fabulous for you. So that concludes my psychic readings for today. And I hope that you have enjoyed these readings. I'm going to take one moment to introduce now my special guest, Mr. George Koury. He's going to talk to you. I had a lovely opportunity to interview him. And after you hear from him, that's going to pretty much be the end of the program for this month. So I will say up front, if you want to hear more from George Koury, if you would like to know more about him and his angel messages, his psychic messages, his mediumship, and all the other wonderful things he does, don't hesitate to either Google him, George Koury, Khoury, or you can write me at the Psychic Playroom at gmail.com. Psychicplayroom at gmail.com. Okay, here comes your interview. So, hello, everybody. And as you know, this is Carolyn Wilkins, and I'm here with my very good friend, George Koury. And George is going to talk to us. George is a medium. He is an angel communicator. He's also a brilliant tarot reader. And I'm going to ask him to talk a little bit about all of that stuff. So, George, welcome to the Psychic Playroom.
Hi, Carolyn. It's great to see you. I just want to clarify, I do communicate with angels, but I am no angel myself.
Ah, perfect. Well, who of us
Just
is?
to let you know.
This is why we need our angel communicators, right, who can help us out, because if it's up to us, I think we're probably toast, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
listen, my first question I always like to ask people is, how did you get started on this path? Did you know from a child that you wanted to do this kind of work, or what?
That's a great question. My maternal grandmother was a medium, a working medium. There were always people coming to the house. She helped to raise me, So I was in that environment from the time I was a little child. I had my first experience of this type at 5 years old, and it was a visitation from what I realize now is my guardian angel. It was very short. It was a time when my parents were having financial difficulties. There was a lot of arguing in the house. And this angel appeared to me as I was drifting off to sleep one night. The experience didn't last very long, maybe 8 minutes or so, but there was so much information that I received, and the energy was so profound. It really provided me with great comfort, upliftment, joy, and it's something that I've gone back to and continue to draw from even to this day.
Wow. And isn't it amazing how those kind of experiences, you can look back and it can be 20, 30, 40, 50 years or more, and it's still, you remember it as clear as if it were the day. I know we all have them, and there's maybe only one or two, and maybe in real life they only lasted 5 minutes or less even, but they impact your life. So thank you for sharing that. I want to now move a little bit to, I know that you are now traveling the country as a professional medium. You do performances. I don't know if performances is the right word, but you're on stage in front of an audience offering readings. And I'm assuming that you also do readings to private clients one-on-one.
Yes, I do. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I figured. And later on, audience, I'm going to share, well, you know the drill. You can write to me, psychicplayroom@gmail.com. And if you have something that you want to talk to George about, I will pass your information to him. But anyway, so yes, you've been traveling. I know you did an event in Los Angeles. You were recently here in Quincy, Mass, doing an event at a very historic spiritualist church here.
Beautiful
with
church.
Amazing medium Mavis Patilla. And so that is super. So tell me a little bit more about your work as a medium. Do you put it this way, if someone were coming to you to seek you out for a consultation, how should they be prepared to, what kind of things should they bring? Should they bring articles from their loved one? Should they bring questions? Should they bring a photograph? How do you do that?
Great question. People can certainly bring photographs and objects, although most of the time I am working long distance, so I'm working by this sort of technology. If you do have pictures, you can certainly hold them up, or I will sometimes have people send a digital copy ahead of time. But the main thing, and I know that you know this, Carolyn, is I encourage people to come with an open heart and an open mind. Because of the celebrity mediums that are on television, people have unrealistic expectations about what a private reading is. When you see one of the well-known mediums on television, if they're doing a 20-minute reading, they've probably been taping for an hour or more, and all of those deadly pauses where the client says, I have no idea what you're talking about, are edited out. So it looks perfect. And they're not cheating, it's just that for the sake of time, it's edited down to the most perfect segments. And when you have a live reading, all those deathly pauses are included. And I guess the other main thing is that I don't feel that there's any medium that can guarantee that they're going to bring through the one or two people that that person has foremost in their mind and heart. So that's something that I find a challenge to communicate with people. It might be your Uncle Joe when instead you want to speak to Aunt Mary or your mom.
You know, that is a great point, and I'm so glad that you said that, because that has certainly been my experience as well with people who have come to me, is that, you know, we've all seen the TV shows and the things, and basically it's like the medium goes into a little zone and then boom, 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 hit after hit. And whereas some of that is realistic, like you said, a lot of that is due to the nature of TV, and it would be kind of a boring program if the medium threw out something and then there were many pauses and rests while the sitter tried to figure out, you know, all that. So that's one thing, is the calming of expectations. And also I think this whole process of mediumship in some ways is just such a magical unfolding. And sometimes we mediums are tricked into feeling that it should be a performance, that we're on stage, that we're being tested, if you will, that people are looking skeptically to see if you're a fake or not, or, you know, whatever. And instead, it should be this joyful partnership and kind of a flower opening. And that is the sort of receptivity that allows the spirit world to come close and talk to us.
Yes.
But now I want to hear more from you about other things that you do, George, because in addition to talking to dead people, which is already way cool in my book, you are also an angel communicator. So could you tell us a little bit about how you do that?
Well, you know, I really had that experience that I described to you at 5 years old was
Mm.
an opening. And I would say since that day, I have really worked with the angels very, very closely. And it's a bit of it's a huge intangible for most people. We all have a guardian angel. Several of us, many of us have more than one. Whether you're naughty or nice, you do have at least one guardian angel. I'm saying that because I'm mostly naughty. But the angels are really here to work with us to help us live a happy life, a life in which we have fulfilled or are fulfilling our purpose. And the one thing they've taught me is we are really meant to love. We're here to love, to learn to love, and to be loved, and also to live a happy life. And that's really their function, is to help us with that. And of course, to help with larger issues like peace in the world. And it seems kind of like a little bit airy-fairy or a little bit granola because it's so out there. But if people learn to work with their angels, which is really very simple, they can affect great changes in their life. I've been an activist since I was a teenager, since I was 16. And I've worked on environmental, animal rights, human rights issues. And I've always attempted to blend the spiritual with the very, very practical. There's a great African proverb that says, when you pray, move your feet. And that's always been sort of a motto of mine. I don't feel that prayer, meditation, the quote unquote spiritual life on its own is enough. I feel like particularly now we have to take action to affect positive changes in the world.
That is beautiful. I couldn't agree with you more. And I must say, amazingly, our time together is almost finished. So I want to thank you, a million thank yous for taking time out of your day.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. And so, George, you are based in upstate New York, correct?
Outside of Woodstock, New York.
Okay. So if you are in that area, you can, of course, find George, seek him out. And can you spell your name for everyone so they can just Google you and that way they can find you?
It's George, George, last name Koury. My website is spiritlovesyou.com.
All right. Spirit loves you. It doesn't get better than that. Thank you so much for joining us today on the
Thank you, Carolyn.
Big fun.
It's great
All
talking with you. Much
We
love.
will talk again. So I hope you enjoyed that wonderful interview. Once again, if you need to get in touch with George, which I highly recommend, you can Google him, George Koury, or you can write me at the Psychic Playroom, and I would be honored to tell you all about him and how you can find him. Meanwhile, many blessings to you. Have a fabulous month and stay growing and blossoming during this amazing winter solstice. All right, bye for now.
Thoughts are things with the energy to make life better for you and for me. Touch the light.